If you just knew this morning, you weren't here about an hour ago, my name is Dr. Paul Richards. I'm the superintendent of the American School of Dubai, just starting my third year. We came from Boston by way of being overseas for 10 years. We decided to raise our children overseas, so we did a stint in London, in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia, and as I said, the last 3 years in Dubai. So this was our top choice when it came to looking for a place for our children to be in high school and a community that we wanted to be part of. And we were thrilled to have the opportunity to come here and lead the school and be part of the community. And it was really that community piece that attracted us to the American School of Dubai. Perfectly okay to have nerves, butterflies about the first day of school tomorrow. I say that when there would be students in the room, but if you're like Tina and me, it's just absolute joy that we're getting our kids out of the house and turning them over to us here at school. So we recognize that it's definitely time for school to start. We're ready for them. We have a lot of stuff planned, especially the first couple weeks of school, just to get them onboarded and comfortable. And then, of course, as we all know, the school year really flies by. But we really hold dearly the culture of care for your children and the dynamic here. So we're going to run through a little bit of information. You're here, some practical stuff, some philosophical stuff, and then we'll get you on your way to the next part of the program. I just want to introduce our new Associate Superintendent, Dr. Becky Bird, who came from a long and distinguished career in the United States as a superintendent, most recently in Marysville, Washington, and she's over there hiding over by the exit sign. We also have a few other folks who you'll meet throughout the day. So you heard me mention this earlier, the mission. The reason we continually bring this up is it's really, really important for you to know our purpose. What are we trying to do here for your children? And you also heard me say this slogan of ours, every student, future ready. We're striving to be the most relevant and most personalized school in the world. And we take that work very, very seriously. And we know that it is a daunting task because schools, even excellent schools like ASD, are still in that traditional model. That traditional mode of the way we group students, the types of courses we have, the timetabling. In about 3 weeks, I'll do what we call Talk Tuesday. Every Tuesday morning, we offer programming on a whole number of subjects, but all speak to these changing shifts in education and how ASD is responding to them in much more detail. But we are really reworking everything we do so your children can have a more personalized and relevant experience, so they get what they need, frankly, if you're going to sum it up that way. Of course, we're deeply committed to literacies, not just the classical literacies, writing, communication, speaking, things like that, but also new literacies like technology literacies, ICT, data, things like that. You saw the student profile likely at the slide as well. I can't overemphasize how big a change it is for a school to take what is traditionally a graduate profile of skills that are, may look very similar to when we went through school, but to put things in there like empathy and self-awareness and resiliency, to be innovative, to be a communicator, and then to be a global citizen. We are committing to aligning everything we do in the classroom, outside of the classroom, to ensure your students embody these skills and characteristics, these mindsets and knowledge. Why? Because we know that school's not about imparting knowledge anymore. When we went through this, we had to memorize a lot of stuff. We just learned a lot of facts. The facts are already out there. They're on the internet. They're other places. They can be retrieved when you need them. What our generation, your generation of students need, they need to be able to work in groups. They need to be able to understand different cultures. They need to have a self-awareness of what they're good at. These are the human qualities that are going to allow your students to thrive in this accelerating world. So what we needed to do is we needed to revise this profile of a student. So as I said, we're in the process now of aligning everything, including spaces. It's not just what we teach and how we teach, but the space that we teach in to make sure that your students embody this. This is what they need and this is what they deserve. And there are 3 shifts that we accept, and as I said, I'll go into more depth in a couple of weeks about this. The role of the teacher has shifted dramatically from when we went through school. So no longer are we up there just, basically lecturing or controlling every aspect of that class session. We are much of the time acting as facilitators, acting as coaches. We're setting up conditions so your students can explore and learn and collaborate so that they take more agency, they take more ownership on their own learning. We need them to be continuous learners and to have that ability to learn on their own because, when we were in school, we took the IQ test, the intelligence test. That is really in the background now. Then we started talking a lot about emotional intelligence, or EQ. Well, today it's all about AQ, adaptability quotient. So the ability for students to learn something because they need to, or young adults to learn something because they need to, because there's a job opportunity, there's a project that involves a team from another country, things like that. So the role of the teacher has to change where it's not about us, it's about your students. And that content now, which is on demand, the focus is more on skills. So all these skills that students need to know, communication, literacy, and other skills, so that they can put them to action. And then the relevancy piece I mentioned. There are things in the curriculum that will always be relevant. There are other things we're starting to move out so we can put in more relevant topics, especially disciplines that cross different subjects like biotechnology or computer programming or big data, sustainability, things like that need to find its way into the curriculum, and that's the changes we're making. So I want to show you this video, which we asked the students last winter. This was a promotional video that we used at one of our big spring galas that we do each year. But this is a video we asked our students, what would you like about the future at AST? So please enjoy.
Well, I think the future would look like at AST. So many kids having fun. I think in the future, AST will have more gadgets. I hope they have more trees, more bees buzzing around, more people who get to join all the fun that we have.
Living in this complicated and complex world, we need to be given the right tools in life. It's about researching, exploring, learning how to be confident, finding the best of every child and nourishing that.
When we put our mind to it as ASC community, we quickly go after the big challenges. Of young children in elementary school, the fact that they really focus on the social skills, the interaction of positively interacting with people from different backgrounds will establish their future as global citizens.
They're genuinely charting a path for our kids to be successful. In elementary school, they start talking about core values.
The core values help us remind ourselves about what we should do. They give you a good lesson for life. My favorite core value is respect, integrity, compassion, and excellence, responsibility.
There's a lot of positive changes that are already happening on campus. Our school is really trying to be a sustainable leader. A few years ago, students and teachers had this dream to maybe one day have bees on campus. 3 years down the line, we're finally here.
If you didn't have bees, you would only have oats, rice, trees, wind-pollinated food.
It's really important for students to be thinking about the future. They need to be investing in creating positive situations in the environment. And is a great reminder to do that every day.
I've seen how AST has started to include technology at the K-1 level and at the high school level, and I can only see them adapting and leveraging that going forward.
We're already so far ahead of the curve, and we're always evolving.
They're always trying to adapt to the current students and the current environment.
The way that you start to now tailor a curriculum is where technology in the future is kind of leading.
As a senior, I'm choosing my future path right now, and if I hadn't been able to explore everything that I was interested in at school, I wouldn't know what I wanted to do in the future.
From the bottom of my heart, I think it's the best thing we do here. We grow walls and inspire people. There are these phenomenal trips, and the school walls are away, and here we are learning so much. I really believe they're valuable. On these trips, we're hoping to write lots, read lots, see lots, help. Imagine being at Paul talking about in a school where the teacher makes $1 a week. And I'm learning a tremendous amount. Well, the same with the kids. The eyes are wide open.
I think giving back and having a genuine connection is just vital to the growth and the future of the school.
We need to give back. Faculty needs to give back. Kids got to give back. Parents got to give back in order to keep the success. Because it's not about the biggest and the best. It's that you give something.
The school provides so many amazing opportunities for our children, and for parents to come together and really celebrate the accomplishments of what the school has given us is just a fantastic feeling.
I hope that they continue to be open to new ideas and change.
I really like the greens and like the open space. I like that. I hope that doesn't change.
I hope ASD stays the kind of community school that it is today, and that everybody that comes in here really appreciates that this is their home, this is their community.
This is an amazing home away from home. This is genuinely where the childhood magic happens.
Right now we are a student-focused, student-driven school, and that's the most important thing, what's best for kids.
So you can see that it's so much more than what we do in the classrooms. It's the whole approach to development of young minds, young bodies, young spirits. So, as you heard earlier, get your students engaged, your children engaged. There are many opportunities starting at the earliest of ages to get involved in what we have on offer. Just want to say a word before we turn it over. You can see these core values, and it's important for us as adults, of course, to not only model, we would expect that as a basic expectation, these core values, but also to help police these in a way among ourselves, help the new parents, even returning parents, to just live by these. So what makes ASD special and what it is that we do stop and take the time and say, what I said, I didn't mean to say it that way clearly. It impacted you, so I want to take responsibility. I want to apologize. Those moments when we stop and we actually take responsibility, or we show respect or compassion in a difficult situation, is what makes community, and that was what makes the ASD community special. So please join all of us in helping us enforce, make sense, and model the core values of the school, so we can keep this really wonderful dynamic. I want to say, just before we play the video, just another word on Homeschool Partnership. To steal a phrase from Dr. Michael Thompson, the psychologist, he said, our real goal is to create happy and healthy 35-year-olds. So happy and healthy 35-year-olds. And I like to add a little asterisk to that, which is healthy and happy 35-year-olds that are not living at home. because a couple years ago, a really important milestone was passed in the United States, which I don't know if you heard, but more 20 to 39-year-olds are living at home by choice than those who are living at home because they don't have the money to be on their own, or those who are already out of the house. So think about that. It's like 35, 36, 37% of those who are 20 to 39 live at home because they want to, and their parents, I suppose, let them. Although you see some high-profile cases where the parents take their kids to court to get them out of the house. I don't know how we got to this point, but the way we look at it, K through 12, is that every year we're trying to further develop that independence. So by the time your children graduate from ASD, inshallah, they will have the ability to make decisions. And of course you'll still be there, but you'll be coach, you'll be support network, you'll be the safety net, but you're not going to be their personal assistant. You're not going to be the one making all those decisions because they're able to do that. So that is really our goal. And what that means is every year your role shifts to when they're very young, you're doing almost everything for them, to when they're getting into the later years of high school, you're doing very little for them than just advising and being a sounding board and things like that. So there's this one term, helicoptering parents. You've probably heard this. Just want to show you a cute little video that illustrates this point.
When a child is learning to walk, that's the last time we allow ourselves to be overjoyed by the fact that they're trying and failing and trying again. Of course, it's hard to see them fall, but somehow we know that this is an essential task for them to practice, 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 and ultimately perfect. Well, somehow we've forgotten that every single other skill in life is acquired the same way. While I was Dean of Freshmen at Stanford University, we began referring to college students as kids or children, and those terms would have not been used in prior decades. Too many students seemed to be lacking agency in their own lives, and I thought, this is not good for them, and it's not good for all of us at a societal level either. Initially, helicopter parenting appears to work. As a kid, you're kept safe. You're given direction. You might get a better grade because that parent is arguing with the teacher. But we parents, we end up getting in our kids' way. We deprive the kid of the chance to show up in their own lives, take responsibility for things, be accountable for outcomes. What we've got to do is teach our kids all of these things, whether it's cross the street or make a meal on the stove, or remember to put your belongings in your backpack. There's a 4-step method for teaching kids skills. Step 1, you do it for them. Step 2, you do it with them. Step 3, you watch them do it. Step 4, they can do it independently. If we don't do this, we will have among us a young adult population that doesn't know how to #adult. It becomes a community problem. It becomes a crisis in leadership. You have to ask who's going to run the schools, who's going to run our nonprofits, who's going to run the government, who's going to lead our families. Kids have to be able to make their own mistakes growing up. Life is about having confidence that if you took the wrong path, you can get on the right path. That if you fall down, you can get back up. The moment they learn to walk, they're walking away from us. And it feels terrifying. But as paradoxical as it may sound, our job as parents is, like it or not, to put ourselves out of a job.
Of course, the great part of putting yourself out of a job as the parent is you can then transition to be more of a friend and a confidant. And of course, we look forward to that as parents of 2 high school kids who still need a lot of parenting, I will admit. But the point here is we're asking to partner. We're not asking you to just turn your children over, let us do our thing. We're asking to partner with you, keeping in mind that there's an end game here, and that is they become independent young adults who can go and thrive in the world. And of course, helicoptering is not the only term you've heard. You may have heard this one as well. Are you a lawnmower parent? Do you know what a lawnmower parent is? Claudia, do you know what a lawnmower parent is? No. It's okay. So a lawnmower parent is a parent who is a little bit ahead of the child and is mowing the path, making sure the path is exactly the way they want it to be so the child does no issues, no stumbles, any of that sort of thing. And of course, this can be as detrimental as helicopter parenting to a young person. So to again steal a phrase from psychologist Rob Evans, he says, prepare your child for the path rather than preparing the path for your child. And I know it's very tempting, it's very hard to see your young child to make a mistake or stumble. My son's been trying to get me to speak to the campus rec director for the last 4 days because he wants to develop a rock climbing after-school activity, and I refuse to do it because he needs to do that. So work against our best instincts to sometimes come in and do something for the children. That would be lawn mowing in an example. So just partner with us. That's the message for today and for the rest of the school year. We'll coordinate, we'll get on the same page, and we'll give your children what they need. So now we're going to get into the really pragmatic, and we're going to, the second most difficult thing about ASD is getting here to drop your children off. The most difficult thing at ASD is getting out. So you can go on and do what you plan on doing. And I say that a little tongue-in-cheek, although if you haven't experienced this yet, it is a really challenging parking situation and drop-off situation. Not just for the simple fact that we have a school of 1,900 students here, we're right next to a school of 2,700 students, and there's a hospital. And we have this very small kind of service road, so it gets very congested. So, of course, one of our messages for tomorrow and the rest of the week, get here early, give it enough time to get in and out. But I'm going to invite Mr. Steve Jones, our Director of Facilities, who will give you some real practical advice on how to navigate this.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ASD. As Paul said, unfortunately, time for some practical stuff now. On our next slide, there it is. There's our lovely campus. I'm glad that Paul broke the bad news about the parking. So I'll give you some good news about how we can do a couple of things to make life a little bit easier. Getting to, getting round, and getting into the campus. So we'll start down at gate number 1. At the bottom of the page. We're very fortunate that we have 360 degrees all the way around campus. We've designated certain gates for certain uses to try and make things again as easy as possible. So what I'll do is I'll just run around in that clockwise direction and let you know what those gates are for. Gate number 1, we generally class that just for visitors access. There is some parking there, so if you are struggling elsewhere to find somewhere, you can make your way down there to see if there's something there. Generally, it's quite busy, so I would recommend leaving that one as a final option. You'll note that gate number 2 is not on here. That's because that is used for 2 things. It's for our deliveries, and more importantly for you guys, that's where our school bus system goes in the morning and afternoon. I would recommend that you take a look at this as a potential option. The company STS, that's our student transport provider, they are excellent. They transport something like 80,000 students per day around Dubai. They're very, very good at it. Safety standards are excellent. And they basically come in just off First Hale Street, they go straight into gate number 2, they miss all the traffic. It's the least stressful way to get your kids to and from school. Continue around, you come to gate number 3. You'll see on Hesse Street that says exit only, so please don't use that as an entrance. You come in, and this is the first of the gates that we designate for specific use. This is for high school students. So if you've got a high school student, I would recommend coming here. In the morning, all the parking bays are as they are. In the afternoon, we use a pick-up and drop-off bay to help ease the traffic during that peak period. Continue around, there's a hatched area. You'll see probably today, tomorrow, that we're busy building a building there in this time next year. Paul, you'll be telling everybody about a wonderful new early learning centre, very scary. We are working with the contractor now to get some additional parking in that space during the construction period, and then we will reopen gate number 4. So we'll be communicating through our ASD news about when that's going to happen, so keep a look out for that. So again, continue round, you then come to gate number 5 into gate number 6. This is the busiest area. So gate number 5 is upper elementary, gate number 6, lower elementary. This is going to be your busiest point. So what I would recommend, as Paul's already mentioned, is try and get here a little bit early. If you turn up at gate 5 and 6, 10, 15 minutes before the start of school, it's going to be busy. You're going to struggle to find a parking space. If you get here 25, 20 minutes earlier, you're going to wonder what all the fuss is about, because you're just going to drive in and you're going to find a parking space. The other thing to do is, please at all times, just listen to what our security guards ask you to do. They're a fantastic team. We've had them here since day 1, virtually all the guards. They've seen anything that could possibly happen in a parking area. They know what to do. It might sound crazy, it might sound counterintuitive, but just follow their instructions, and if you have an issue, take it up with me, please. Don't take it up with them. Okay? So let's say you got here early, you listened to the guards, you found your parking space, you walk up to one of the gates. How do you get in? It's actually quite easy. All you got to do is have your ID badge. Okay? One thing before I forget. All of the parking outside here belongs to RTA, Road Transport Authority. It's not school land, so they will charge you for parking. The only place for some reason is gate number 3. But everywhere else, if you can use either the machines, or you can use one of the RTA parking apps, or use an SMS, because mornings and afternoons, the inspectors know who's going to be here, and they'll come down. If you haven't heard it, they'll give you a ticket. So you go back to the gate, you've got your ID. As you come in, there's readers either side of the gate, so you can just tap in on the way in and tap in on the way out. If you come in and you don't have your ID, we can still get you in. There's a system to go through. It's a bit warm at the minute, so the guys will stick you to one side and deal with everybody else before they deal with you. So please remember these. Okay? When you're on campus, please wear them too. This is the only way we know that you're supposed to be here. If you come in and someone taps you on the shoulder and says, "Where's your ID?" and if it's in your bag or your pocket, just please put it around your neck so we know you're supposed to be here. When you're on campus, one of the things that we're really proud about is levels of health and safety. Safety is one of the most important things that I do in my role. We have systems in place to make sure that we maintain safety, but it's great to have another 2,000 sets of eyes walking around campus. If you see something that's of concern, report it to security, report it to one of the faculty members. Come and see me. My office is B209. It's just upstairs at the top of the corridor. My office is open for you to come and talk about anything at any time. So that's basically us. So as a quick summary, I would recommend get here a little bit early. Listen to the guards, follow their instruction. Always have your ID. Tap in, tap out. Wear it when you're on campus. And any concerns, please bring them to me. I can't remember the last time someone came with a problem and we didn't resolve it before you walk out of my office. Okay? So, welcome. You're going to love it. I've been here this is year number 11 now. I came for 1 year and I'm still here. So there's going to be something good about it, definitely. Have a great time. Thank you.
I just want to emphasize, particularly gate 1 and gate 3, it can be tempting for some to drop at the bus stop or literally right on Hesse or First Elkale. Incredibly dangerous with just the way people drive around the campus on these busy roads. So please make sure you come into the campus area, find a spot, and do it in a safe way. Like I said, every day there are things that stop our heart because we see students running across the roads or dropped at places they really shouldn't be dropped off. So please help all this together and we'll keep things safe. So one of the very best things about AST is we have 3 fantastic parent volunteer groups. So there's lots of opportunity for you to get involved. If you have a particular passion for the arts or for athletics or just want to get involved in all the different things that we have on offer, we have some really great avenues for this. So you can see our our, Claudia, why does it say Vice President there? Claudia is the President of PTSA, President Extraordinaire. So sorry about that, but you can see we have these three organizations, and they're each going to say a little bit about what they do and invite you to one of their first events. So we'll start with the PTSA, otherwise known as the Parent Teacher Student Association, and I'll invite Claudia, who's now in her second year as the president.
Hello. Hello, good morning. My name is Claudia. This is my second year as the president of PTSA. I was hoping to speak at the end because I talk a lot, but especially because my first message to you guys is that I've been 9 years in this school, so I'm going to talk as a parent, of course. And I'm in love with this school. The community of this school, it's something unique that I can say it very open that Dubai has. And I've been, in these 9 years, I was working always behind scenes. So last year I decided to step up to become part of the PTSA, which is Parent Teacher Student Association. And what we basically do is that we bring community together. But as you know, all of you here, you're part of PTSA. So what I always invite parents is to, and we have also that, by the way, so it's not only moms, we also have that in the PTSA group, and I always invite all of you to be part of the events, to be part of building this community and to bringing it together. I always say that it's an amazing package because you enjoy being part of the events, being part of bringing community together, and at the same time you're doing it for your kids. We're here to help you always. We're going to be in the field house after this is done with Booster Cast and PTSA. We have a table there. I really invite you to go there so you can learn a bit more about it. And I can give you my mobile there. I can help you, and we can, as a PTSA, help you in anything you need as new parents. Our first event is coming the 25th of October, and then in Christmas we will also have an event. And there in the field house, you can really come and get more information. And if you want to be part of it, you can always put your name, and we will contact you. And last but not least, I invite you. We're all with new energies right now. We have batteries. We already came from summer. I invite you to keep that positive energy throughout the year, and things will go always more smooth, not only in school, but in general with your kids. Welcome to ASD, and if anything, now you know me, you can approach me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. So we have, countless sports and activities, and our Booster Club is there to support. They also operate the Falcon's Nest, so if your children don't yet know what the Falcon's Nest, they're in for a real treat, literally and figuratively. So I'd like to welcome Marit up to speak about Booster.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Marit, and I have an 11th grader here, and he came to ASD and Dubai last year, so I'm starting my second year here. And here I am, VP of the Booster Club. So, same thing, it's all about volunteering. And the Booster Club is really about helping middle school, junior varsity, and varsity athletics, and the whole athletic department. I guess we do the fun things, like as Dr. Richard said, the Falcon Nest, where for every single athletic event, we will have the concession open, and for that we need volunteers to be able to have all those hot dogs ready and have fun there. We are open every Tuesday for Tasty Tuesdays as well, for in the afternoon for kids to have hot dogs or other snacks at the end of the day. We operate the shop or the spirit store also next to the Fountain Nest, where you can have all your gears. Not wearing any. We have loads of nice articles for the kids to support their school. We also organize recognition events for after every sports season, so that's 3 times a year where all the athletic kids are recognized. We offer up to 10 1,000 dirham. Is it dirham? Dollars. Okay, sorry. $1,000 scholarships to graduating seniors athletes. So the Spirit Store is open on Sunday and Tuesday from 2:30 to 4. And as I said, we have the Tasty Tuesdays as well from 2:30 to 4. Join us. You can connect, as Claudia said, we'll be in the house bill to tell you a little bit more about what we do, and hope to see a lot of you involved in getting our athletes out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. And last but not least, our Creative Arts Support Team is led by Marissa Whitman, who wants to say a few things.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I am going to use the cheat sheet, so sorry. So my name is Marissa Whitman, and this year I am president of CAST, the Creative Arts Support Team. A year ago, I was sitting where you were. I came from the American School of the Hague. I know there's like 4 new families coming from there, so woo-hoo, American School of the Hague. I have 2 daughters, Marin, who's in grade 5, and Callie, who is just starting high school, so I have no idea what I'm in for the next couple of years. But I wanted to share, if we can get the next slide, the mission of CAST. So our mission statement is that the Creative Arts Support Team is dedicated to enhancing and promoting the arts at ASD by supporting the faculty and staff and providing enrichment opportunities for students and for our community. And of course, we're here to talk to you about volunteering for the school. We're always looking for volunteers with a wide array of skills. And as they say in the theater, there are no small parts, only small actors. And we know that your time is limited and it's valuable. So as the CAST board team, we promise that your volunteer hours will be used to make a maximum impact for the ASD community, for the students and the teachers. CAST will be supporting over 50 events at the school, from elementary school through high school and at the community level. So there is literally a symphony of opportunities waiting for you. We have our first meeting on September 16th, and we'd love to see you guys there. And I'm short and sweet, so I will end with a little quote that I found for you by the French painter Degas, and he says, "Art is not what you see, but what you make others see." Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Marissa. And you can see that, as we mentioned before, tomorrow morning we call it Tears and Cheers. The K1ers, parents who are dropping their kids off for the first time, lots of tears. The rest of us, cheers. So after you drop your kids, please come to the foyer, just right out there tomorrow. We'll be out there, we'll have snacks and coffee. Great chance to meet some parents, both in this room, but also some returning parents. Do some networking, learn a bit more about what's going on. Really nice event. And you can stop by anytime. You don't have to be there right at the start. So just a couple last announcements. If you haven't picked up the welcome packet yet, we have it for you out there in the foyer. Please do come to the field house, our massive facility for our activities and athletics. We have a lot of tables set up, everything from uniforms to other information, be able to sign up for activities. There is free ice cream. I'll say it again, free ice cream between 10 and 12 or 2 o'clock, brought to you by London Dairy. And as Steve said, get here early, and we look forward to meeting you over the days. So enjoy the day. Thank you.